So talking about consent in marriage is a bit, like a slippery slope, because I can't be asking my wife, kiss me, and I'm asking her based on consent when I'm married.
Hi guys, we're back on Sexually Speaking, the podcast where we say the things that people are thinking about but don't want to say out loud. On our 8Z of sexual health, today we have the letter C. Now, what could C stand for?
Letter C. Interesting alphabet. Com? No. I was thinking more into the letter, let's say consent.
Yep. C is for consent. Consent, which is the key that opens the door, leads to the house.
Wow.
Of sexual activity. Now, what is consent? Consent basically is about communication, asking and responding. And it's also about comfort and respect. You're showing respect to this person, and the person is comfortable. You two are also comfortable in that space. And one thing to note though is that consent is age restrictive. Yep. Only adults can give consent to sex. But there are a lot of gray areas around consent. If someone does not say no, does that mean yes? If you are doing foreplay with somebody, you're kissing, you're touching, and the person does not run away, let's say, and the person does not say no, does that mean go ahead, let's have sex?
That's an interesting thought, to be honest. I think we're trying to do, if we're thinking about what we understood about consent before the Gen Z, like before now, there've been, I remember those days, I think we still had some kind of consent, but it was more mutual, unspoken,
consent.
Unspoken consent, where of course, we watch movies now when you say you're talking to a particular girl and you want to kiss her, but you don't know whether she really wants to kiss you. So what do? Like you
just lean in.
You lean in.
Yeah.
And when she leans back to you,
that means...
you move. Yeah. So it's interesting we're talking about consent in 2026, because now I also remember that it was kind of challenging for a lot of people, whether male or female. At least for the female, it was kind of weird to just say, kiss me, or I like you, or let's have sex, or something like that. So even for the men, it was more like that. It has to be something that we communicate eye to eye. Look into your eyes, look into my eyes. But it's getting weird because a lot of guys have slapped, plenty slap on their face just for misreading signs. So it's now very important for us to have a verbal consent or communication.
Yeah.
And so, that's what we're talking about now.
Yeah, it's great that you mentioned Gen Z and millennial, because there is that distinction. With Gen Zs now, we are more vocal about boundaries and consent. There's a lot of online discourse as well, which was not very rampant before.
Yeah.
But with millennials, there are not a lot of conversations surrounding this, and it's always less explicit, even if these conversations are had. So I would say yes, we are evolving, into more vocal consent. And does consent make sex awkward when you're already in a vibe, and then somebody will not be asking you, do you want to, can I Should I, like I said, you're signing contract? So does it make it awkward in any way? Do you
Anyway,
think so?
well, just thinking about it, before it's been go with the flow, and the flow is usually very interesting when it's flowing.
Yeah.
So anything that cuts that flow, usually
Kills the vibe.
yeah, I think that's a way to put it. Just kills the vibes.
Does it?
Yeah, no, it does. It does because in some kind of way. But the interesting thing to note is that though not verbal, there has always been consent, But
That's
of course,
like mutual understanding.
mutual understanding and all of that. But then again, like I said, you might think that you can read the handwriting on the wall and you read something wrong, and so that's why it's becoming more important to talk about consent. But in the light of what is going on now with a lot of people that have been accused of sexual harassment and rape, we also need to mention that it's becoming very, very important for us to normalize the vibe of consent.
Yeah.
Yes, we have to normalize the vibe because for everybody to be safe, for you to understand. I even watched a movie some time ago and it's more like, I've forgotten the name of the movie. So they put a camera on their chest.
Okay.
And they just do this. Do you consent to this? Yes, I consent. Do you consent to this? Yes. And it felt like there was still the energy there.
Yeah,
Only
okay.
that we have a documentation now for tomorrow. So I from that movie I watched, I feel if we normalize it, it would not do much.
Yeah. I do not believe that consent kills any vibe. What are you killing there? which vibe are you killing? And there's a lot of talk about consent in relationships and marriage. When you are already with this person. So do they still need to ask you, can I touch you? Can I kiss you? Do you want to? And this also sort of goes into the line of, is there or is there not marital rape?
That's heavy.
Does it exist or does it not exist? Yes, because in a marriage, you feel like you are entitled to this person's body.
Feel like? No. So let's get some things clear.
Yeah.
In marriage, it's more or less like you guys are legally bound to be in that union. And that union, the contract is sex. And we also have our culture and religion that looks towards marriage as the place where you can have it all.
You can do it there, yes.
So talking about consent in marriage is a bit, like a slippery slope, because I can't be asking my wife, kiss me, and I'm asking her based on consent when I'm married, as opposed to probably in even relationship. Because remember, there's a time, one of the episodes we were talking about how when you say we are in a relationship, it means that we are now exclusive. That means that we are exclusive to each other.
Yeah.
So in being exclusive to each other, whatever we're doing, we feel okay doing it with ourselves, and that's why we are in that relationship. But I think when it comes to penetrative sex, that's what I'm just thinking. There's a whole lot of other conversation that can also tie in the married couple, because now in penetrative sex, of course we know that some people might just let some things happen. I remember, I don't even want to go into some other conversation, but I don't want this to sound very religious, because there was a time I watched a video of a pastor that mentioned how sex in marriage is not really like you have to always have the butterfly, and sometimes it's about responsibility. And I was seeing some backlash, on that. And
that's a very good question.
Yeah, it was like a coin. A coin is interesting because it has like two faces.
Yeah.
If you're here, you would understand what is being said. If you're here, you would also understand what is being said. But the most important thing is, how do we look at it holistically, because in that institution, the law of consent itself, my body is your, they even preach it, your body is your body, my body is your body, that kind of a thing. So but when we talk about consent in relationship and we're talking about penetrative sex, there are so many other factors, that can make somebody say, I don't want to have sex now. In short, one interesting one that I saw recently, maybe we should talk about it. We're talking about how, I have, let's say the girlfriend was saying, or let's say girlfriend, that's not the usual one.
Okay.
The girlfriend was saying, I have to be in the office tomorrow. And the guy was like, I really feel like having sex now, but if I won't take much of time,
Okay.
There was some kind of dialogue to the conversation. And at the end of the day, the guy said something, I can't remember how that went, but it was a dialogue. But the comment on that was that, is this not
coercion?
Yeah, coercion, that's the word.
Emotional pressure.
Yeah, to have sex, and maybe was there consent in that particular?
Yeah.
I was like, you guys should stop.
That's a very good question. Is there consent in coercion? Perhaps we can't phrase that particular situation as coercion.
Exactly.
But asking multiple times, can we say that is coercion? When you ask, they say, I have headache. You ask again, you say, I'm tired. You like when you say, please now, all those kind of things that happen.
Well, is that coercion?
I would say that is coercion, because it's pressure, and when you remove someone's ability to say no, that's not consent.
Anyway,
if you are asking with the mind that they must tell me yes. If they say no, I will continue asking. My goal is to ask and for them to say yes. So once you
we're ruling out persuasion out of the equation.
Ooh.
Persuasion it's a human.
Yeah, but
persuade is just like I'm wooing you or I'm enticing you. It could look like that. I remember one time people used to say, when you want to have a good night with your partner, there are certain things that you need to be doing. For example, maybe you called her during the day. Hey, baby, how are you doing today? I hope work is going fine. Blah, 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 blah. Maybe in the afternoon, you send her like a flower, just telling you that I'm thinking about you. Just putting yourself in her thoughts.
Yeah.
And
I've seen things like that.
Do we see that as coercion?
No, I feel like that's foreplay that happens outside the bedroom.
Wow, so that one's not a foreplay, but if me, I'm talking, why now?
That's not foreplay. That's not foreplay. Once you cannot accept no, then there is no consent. Just because the person said yes, after you have asked 1 million times, it's not consent. No.
Great.
And
Great.
And there are also the gray areas of like age gaps or financial dependence, when a husband is the sole provider in the family, and can his wife say no to him? Her saying yes every time, is that really consent when she feels like she's financially dependent on this person? Because that strips you of your autonomy once you are not financially independent.
I think when we are talking about marriage, autonomy is not one word that should be mentioned.
Why?
Yes, because
kindly explain.
Yeah, so marriage, in my opinion, or what I know about, is the marrying of two people into one, and that comes with almost everything. Your body, your money, your resources, your being. Whether we are doing that or not, that's debatable. Whether you want. Some people finances together based on marriage and all of that. So there's no kind of, you have this. So if you decide to say, I want to have my own this in marriage, it's probably your choice, maybe what works for you. But in itself, this is what it should look like. Do you understand? So when I say my body is my body in marriage, I think it's a bit.
You don't really agree with this?
No, I personally don't.
Okay.
I personally don't. I know I can talk about consent where marriage is not the picture.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's a lot of signing and agreement. You can literally sue. Like you can sue your spouse for not having sex with you in marriage.
Really?
Yes.
That's news to me.
Oh, you don't. That's your marital privileges.
Oh, really?
Yes. So if I decide not to give you the share of my money, and I'm not taking good care of you, you can sue me.
I did not know that. Wow.
Yes, now, like for example, you are married to somebody, you have children, and the person is not taking care of the children.
Not providing.
Yeah, it's not providing. You can sue the person because they're supposed to be like, especially when you know that the person has this to offer. Just just in quote. And you guys are legally bound to share this. So we cannot shy away from sex as being part of, the privileges of being married.
Okay.
So, but outside that institution, you ask me, every other thing is communication and you sticking to yes or no. If somebody says no, then, you don't have any rights to them, as it were.
Yeah, this is speaking of relationships now.
Yes, just relationship.
Yeah, so generally. Now imagine like a boyfriend and a girlfriend, they go to the club, they get lit, they get high, or maybe the girl gets high and the guy is still sober. Then they go home. And can someone that is high, basically, can someone that is high give consent?
No. No.
Point blank, period. No.
Somebody that is underage cannot give consent.
Yeah.
Somebody that is intoxicated in any form of drugs or alcohol or medication, it could be medication, cannot give consent because it's just the same thing when we say you don't drink and drive. You need your full mind to be able to process certain things when it's happening, because if somebody is taking advantage of you beyond what you would want the person to, you need your mind to be able to say, oh, something is wrong here.
Yeah.
Instead of when your body is just lying there and it's all for grabs,
And then, what if they are both high?
The law permits.
The law permits?
No. You can argue that if two of you can be proven, I don't even think that you can actually engage in sex if two of you are
Why not?
Drunk, not high. There's a difference. If I'm induced, we can pleasure as a boy. If we are drunk, it's like you are going to even hit yourself. You hit your head on the person and lie down on the floor, or even try to start and not finish. So we can actually say that one party is usually always cognitive.
Okay.
So, and that party that is cognitive should be the one responsible to ensure that nothing happens because there's no consent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just way. But if two people are high or drunk, I doubt if they will be able to perform anything.
So no need for consent because nothing will happen.
Nothing will happen.
All right. Well, I don't agree with that. I feel like even if two people are both high or they are drunk or whatever, they can still engage in sexual activity. So consent is always important. It's always important to get consent and to give consent before engaging in any sexual activities.
Don't drink and have sex, basically.
That's our logo now for this episode.
Don't drink and have sex. Because since you cannot give consent and you are not even sure how the sex is going to go, and if you are not going to remember what is going to happen, because there are also diseases to be contracted. Yeah, when you are having sex when you are not cognitive, So it's safe to say that, don't sex and drink or drink and sex. Anyway, in all of this, we always say that we are non-judgmental and we're not here to, shame anybody. So if you want to or if you do then just try to stay safe. Understand the bounds of what, because of course, some people would argue that they actually enjoy sex more when they are, a bit buzzed or under the influence.
Yeah.
But the most important part of it, so that you don't land yourself in jail, is that while you are enjoying yourself and pleasuring yourself, let there be consent in some kind of way and learn to protect yourself. That's all I'll say. All right, so but you can let us know what you feel about consent in the comment section. We would be interested to know what you feel, or if anybody can actually give consent when they are intoxicated.
All right, thank you for joining. That's all for today. Make sure to be on the lookout for our column on lovematters.ng. It's our website, lovematters.ng. And follow us on all our social media platforms. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all of it, we're on there. Bye.
Bye for now.